Alec, welcome back. It's Survivor Vanuatu, and no Chads, no more Chads allowed in this.
Yeah, no, we can't have any more Chads in this in this show. Apparently, we do still have Chris, but Chris does not appear to be a Chad. His name's not Chad for one thing. So.
Yep. If it looks like a Chad, acts like a Chad, it's probably a Chad.
His name is Chad, then he's probably a Chad. Yeah.
So previously, Chad got voted out in a turn of events in which Scout tried to rally resistance against Eliza, and ultimately Amy came back to her. She came back to her roots.
Yeah, she did. It came down.
And then they're like, okay. We're gonna vote over Chris.
Or she came back to her hive, maybe, because she's Queen Bee. So
yeah. And she put things back in order. And so now there's only one man remains amongst the women. What does he say? The testosterone city? Was that, or estrogen city?
Estrogen city. Yeah. Estrogen city is what Sarge called it. Yes.
Estrogen city is becoming more and more. The power dynamic is just more and more imbalanced.
For sure.
What else? Twilight won immunity.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, oh yeah, they had the whole Kava thing, so we got a nice little Chad stupor moment before he went out.
Yeah, before he went out, he got a little tipsy or drunk, or I don't know exactly what was in that drink, but
had some effect on him. But now, I know you weren't happy. You weren't happy with Amy and her absolute chokehold on the game.
I want to see a little bit of
Amy around here.
I want to never. I want to see. I want to see a little bit of upending the tea table. It's been status quo has been basically the name of this whole game. Almost. We saw a little bit of maybe some chinks in the armor in the midst of it, but even still, it just didn't. Nothing quite seemed to upend the status quo. Not even those little. Oh, maybe something might be happening here was enough to really.
Now, if it's ever gonna happen, it's now or never. You know,
pretty much. Yeah.
Literally now or never. So. Let's see. If you want to click the link in the description, you can see the reaction highlights, and you can come back afterwards for the discussion. All right.
Come on down.
There you have it. Episode
there it is.
11, Survivor Vanuatu. This is what you wanted.
This is what I wanted. This is what I want. Excitement, drama. I love how shocked they are. It's so satisfying when somebody who thinks that they're so smug and in control of everything gets the rug pulled out from under them. It's just a very satisfying thing to see.
What a great episode.
That was a great episode. Yeah. There's lots of emotional highs and lows and
so we got the loved one, all the loved one stuff. There's the reward challenge. What was the challenge? It was a trivia challenge.
It was the trivia challenge.
Yeah. And then
which by the way, one of the questions on there where they gave him bonus points if you get for each one, and I was like I didn't really like, particularly because it was like, okay, well, if you don't do well there, and then it's like, well, you might as well give up because the next one's only worth 1 point.
Yeah, you can stack up a lot of points in there.
It's like, okay, like.
And then the final question was another one of those, but Julie just couldn't think of one thing. Like, was she not present at the challenge? What was going on?
She's just like,
remember one item.
I don't even remember what this challenge was.
It's a matching game.
What? I don't even remember that. It was the first challenge, I guess, but
I mean,
even still, you couldn't come up with anything. Like, even just writing down random things, you're sure to get maybe something right.
So Eliza won the challenge, which would get everybody got to have a little email chats with their loved ones.
Yeah, but ultimately it was not an email chat; it was like a video chat.
And then even then they all ran out.
And then even there it wasn't over anything virtual. It was all a ruse. It was all fake news basically. Yeah. The whole episode was fake news because then after that.
But Eliza won the time with her mom.
Yeah, so she came to camp. And we saw almost none of that. We saw like maybe 1.5 conversations between them, I think. So that was a thing. But
then
that was nice.
Eliza's mom gives her the shirt off her back, straight up.
Yep.
Scout's like, that's my kind of woman.
Yeah, stripping down.
Leaving with nothing but her bra and panties on.
Yeah, I was like, okay, what? What are you talking about?
So it was great.
Yeah.
She did that.
She did that. So then.
But then we went to another challenge, which.
But I was gonna say, in between in the midst of all this, So Leann and Amy are confronting everybody over this,
Yeah.
like, oh, you're conspiring. But so they confront Scout, and they're like, how dare you do this? Because Chris at the beginning of the episode is like up front. He's like, Twilight and Scout. That's what they told me,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how it is. He's hoping to shake things up a little bit. So they go and they're confronting Scout, and they're being like, and Scout's like, I don't know about this. There's like, I guess first they talked to Twyla. Twyla's like, talk to Scout. It was Scout's thing, and then Scout was like, no, it was Chad's idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then they confront Twyla again because it's like, how dare you entertain this idea?
Yeah, you should not even talk to him. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, how dare you ever? We always are upfront when the guys talk to us. And I was like, did the guys ever come talk to you? Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe. Yeah. I mean, Amy just shut everything down. But
yeah,
the interesting thing is in the confessional, Amy was like, I think Twilight just has a incorrect way of dealing with like appeasing the guys. So she somehow came away from that thinking that Twilight never was actually entertaining the idea, but in reality, she definitely was. So that's
right.
So that's why she didn't just shut him down.
Yeah. So the immunity challenge comes around.
Mm-hmm.
It was like using loved ones for the immunity challenge, which is...
Yeah, which I'm not a fan of. I mean, Chris, Chris is like, I'm going to win this immunity challenge. That's my prediction. I need to win this. Life or death. And then it's tied down to having their blindfolded loved one do this challenge. And he's just like screaming. Chris was screaming like his life depended on it. Because he was sure that it did. And he was like, damn, I need you to win this, basically.
Yeah, but...
And then the contrast between, like, Leann, they weren't doing so hot, so she was just laughing about it and just, like, just sit down.
Yeah, just sit down. It's whatever. I'm good to go. Yeah. It's like...
Classic falling into that comfort, you know?
Yeah.
But then we have a really interesting interaction between Twyla and Chris, where Twyla tells Chris, you've had the key this whole time.
Well, before that, so Chris assumes I'm done, because they've been very upfront with me that it's me going home.
Mm-hmm.
The women, except for Eliza, all get together and like, well, it doesn't feel right. We can't get rid of Chris. We got to get rid of Eliza. And it's like, okay, I don't know where that came from exactly. They were like, we've been voting on principle this whole time, but now we're just not going to because we don't like Eliza. And I was like, okay. It's like, even Amy was like, I don't know how I feel about that, but okay, I'll go along with it since everyone else is for it. So
Twyla took that, and instead of being like, okay, I'm fine with Eliza going, she decided to tell Chris, you had the key this whole time, and the person you need to talk to, and that's Eliza.
Yeah.
Which is wild. This is wild to me because, like, Twyla's always been gung-ho about just, like, she's annoyed by Eliza. She wanted Eliza out. But then she takes this vote. This was, like, up on a silver platter for her. We're all going to vote Eliza. It's all good. And she's like, you know what? This is an opportunity.
Yeah.
You can really
shake the game up.
Yeah, shake the game
up. You
up.
can change this game by talking to one person. The key to all this. And then he even guesses. He's like, who? And then he's like, Eliza? Think about it. He's like, oh my God, you're right. Like, he was like, wow.
So then Chris is the one who talks to Eliza.
Yeah.
But I think this is just like... So it was a brilliant move by Twyla, I think.
Oh, yeah. It was an amazing move by her.
Because not only did she say that she put aside the fact she's been so annoyed by Eliza, and she's like, she acknowledges this is the path that I need to shake things up.
Mm-hmm.
But she also, I feel like, acknowledges that she's not the one to talk to Eliza because they don't have the best relationship. So she, like, tells Chris to do it.
Yeah, because Chris and her
might have a better shot at.
And they don't really talk. It was Scout. Scout would never be able to talk to her either.
Yeah, this is another wild thing, is that this contingency here, whatever it is between, like, Scout, who hates Eliza. Scout and Eliza come together. Twyla was annoyed by Eliza. And then it's with them and Chris. It's just a big old messy thing, but they all are smart enough for the game. They acknowledge that's what they need to do.
Well, because I think they all realize that, like, well, I mean, even Scout's like, we need to get rid of Amy because they're not. I don't actually remember if Amy and Leann had ever said, "Oh yeah, Scout, you're going with the Final Four with us." But Scout has it in her mind that was sort of like promised to her. And the fact that they've been like very upfront about, like, yeah, you're not really going to be in that actually.
Yeah.
Which is like, why do you want to keep her around? Like, Like, what's the point?
We saw
By
it
doing
like all
that,
this episode, like the little bits of
yeah,
them just like telling people straight up, like, don't trust
yeah,
it.
yeah. You're
That
just not
happened.
going up. Yeah, you're gonna be because it's like, well, what would motivate you, despite the fact that you're all women, but what would motivate them to just go along with that? Like
Yeah,
by just being like, yeah, you're not gonna be in the final four.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like whatever. You're voting with us, but it's like you got to know your place, and it's like I on the one hand, it's like okay, honesty has gotten you this far, but like when you get to this point in the game, can you really afford to be that like blunt to somebody?
Yeah, and what? It's like those two. I don't know why they were so confident. Like, I guess they were
Yeah,
confident they had Julie. They had Julie.
they did.
But I guess maybe Amy was confident she had Eliza, but they were going to vote Eliza. So I don't know why she was so confident in their structure at that point. If you're like acknowledging to both Twilight and Scout that they're kind of on the outs or hinting at it in different ways.
Yeah.
It's like, and then Eliza, they were going to vote Eliza out.
Right.
So it's really interesting that in the end, Chris is having to convince Eliza to like save herself basically without her knowing it. You know, she doesn't know. But like, if she didn't vote with them, that she would go home. You know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and she even kind of acknowledged it by looking back at Chris, like when it happened, or she might have even been looking at Amy, but like
too, yeah.
she might have been looking at Amy. Yeah, looking back at both of them, being like, this did save me because she had 3 votes against her. So it's like, yeah, you would have been going home if they hadn't saved your bacon. You know.
So it's a really weird spot to put them in, where like you're trying to convince someone, let me save you. Like,
yeah,
you will say if you vote this way. But
you'll stay longer in the game theoretically as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of moving parts. This was an exciting episode. This might be is this my first Gold Star episode of the season? I might have given it to one earlier. There was a really great episode. There was a pretty good episode earlier on. Yeah, it was the 3rd episode. That one was really good. But I will give it to this one as well. This was just a solid episode all around.
It's one of those big moments you love to see.
I a little negative points. I'll give it like half a Gold Star because again, the immunity challenge is a little.
But it's almost like that almost added to it. The fact that he was like so adamant that he needed to win this or he was going home.
Yeah.
And he's telling his fiance that like
I'm going home.
So she went home thinking, oh,
he's going home.
Screwed.
He's done.
So
he's
sad.
done, son. And then Leann, who was so confident that she just told her partner to just give up. Yeah.
It's like almost there's so much in like the structure of this episode that's really cool, where it's like you see the contrast between Chris, who's like fighting every is whatever he can do to get there, and then you have Leann, who's just like so confident in her position that she's like relaxed and doesn't feel any pressure. You know, it's almost like you need that pressure sometimes to really get you to see straight. You know, it's like
we got that great shot.
If you spend so much time on top, it's almost like you lose sight of what the end goal. You know.
And we got that great shot of Chris with his where he's like he's got his hat down. Yeah, it was really great. So.
But is this a complete tide shift here? Pretty crazy.
Well, yeah, I think it could be.
Amy is suddenly on the outs.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, Amy's got Julie.
Yeah.
That's about it. And Julie could kind of, I don't know.
Julie seems to be close to Chris, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like...
And like some of the others too, but...
Yeah. Chris has made himself a powerful player, but I think Twilight and Scout are really the ones that hold... Particularly Scout, I think, is the one that kind of holds a lot of the play here, but
Twilight was responsible for so much of this.
Twilight was really a big game player here. She's my MVP. I'll just say it right now. She's MVP of the episode right there. I mean, you almost want to give it to Eliza for actually deciding to really go through with everything, for believing them. But like Twilight being the mastermind and being like,
Chris is great. Like
telling Chris, oh yeah, Chris was awesome in this episode too. It's I want to give it to like everybody, like in a sense, everybody on that alliance, because there's so much that they did to contribute to how great the conclusion of this episode was. Yeah,
and Twilight being every step of the way. Twilight and Chris are both players that are like willing to do whatever it takes. You know, they're really scrappy.
Yeah, real scrappy.
To talk to whoever, put aside their differences, just do what you need to do.
I love how both Scout and Twyla are like, well, Scout was like, I was gonna play the game honestly, but said if I couldn't do that, then I'd lie, cheat, steal my way to the top. And guess looks like that's what I'm gonna do. And even Twyla like pulled out the swear on my son's life, which she's like, I apologize, shouldn't do that, but it's what I got to try to do to get through this.
So that's interesting, Chris. The power rankings before were Amy, Leann, Julie, Scout, Twyla, Eliza, Chris. And now, where are they at now?
It's tough. It's tough to say because the 4 alliance. It's hard. Any one of those 3, Chris, Twyla, or Scout, could be seen as the leader. I think Scout might be overall be in one of the better positions, but I think I would actually probably say Twyla. It's tough to say. I think I would say Twyla, Scout, Chris, Eliza, Julie, Amy. Because they're gunning for Amy now. Like it's clear as day. She's got to get immunity now, or else she's done.
That's a complete reversal.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Reversal of fortunes right there.
That's crazy.
Kind of wild. Yeah.
That's why it's like you get so confident in certain positions, and it does it blurs your judgment a little bit. You get into your position. It's like you don't know what it's like to be on the outs. Amy, Leann, they only know they've had control the whole time. So it's like nothing's gonna disturb that. So they'll just stick to the status quo. And then when this happens, Leann obviously had no idea, and then now Amy's left just boom, like my whole game plan is just out the window here.
Just totally gone now. Yeah. So what is she? What's her strategy even going to be now? What can she do to try to get her?
What can the Ice Queen do? I can't see it. I can't see what she could possibly do because she's cemented her so much in this strategy of keeping people out. Just stick to my power structure. So now being on the bottom, you have to talk to these people and
and they're not going to want to listen to you because you're bossing them around the entire game, basically. So
yeah, because now you're it's like the rich guy who profits off of the poor. They fall down on their luck, and you have to go beg to people, and they're like, yeah, no.
No, sorry, you're gonna have to scrap around like the rest of us.
But I mean, let's see.
Love crazy to see thing. Amy. This is crazy. It would be interesting to see what. If she sticks around longer, what kind of things could she pull? It's all kinds of interesting.
Will this alliance stay strong? Because they are mixed with some previous conflict in there, especially with Eliza being there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, that's why I have Eliza a little lower down. But Eliza has proven to be very, very good in a lot of challenges, physical challenges, mental challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's just annoyed by her, but she's kind of smart as paint. So.
And Julie, we haven't seen much from at all recently, but I mean, she's shown that she's able to have strong relationships with all these people. She's shown she was close with Eliza, even though she was aggravated with her. She was close with Amy, and she's close with Chris. She was close with Twyla for a while, so she has relationships with all of them. So
bonds with most of them, yeah.
There's stuff can happen here.
She's played a social game, and it's worked out for her pretty well. So
it's not like she's dead in the water either. There's you thought Chris was dead in the water, now he seems to be right in the thick of it.
Yeah.
It's
things could go so many different ways.
Yeah.
Now,
Suddenly. Come a long way, just in a couple votes here. But wow. Good stuff.
Wow, indeed.
That's it. So stay tuned next week. I mean, we're down to the final 6. We're getting down to it. We're getting down to really close to the end game here. So.
Nitty gritty.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So what video would you recommend our viewers go watch after this one?
Go check out episode 12 of Survivor Thailand.
That's the one right before the game begins.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know about that episode, but it's all right.
Yeah, you should go check out a reaction to it anyway. To us be all.
Yeah, I don't know. different time, very different time.
Very different.
We were waiting for. We didn't get that moment in that season.
We didn't get this
moment.
We didn't get this moment.
We were waiting. Like that would have been if like they turned the tables on Brian at like the final 7, final 6, or something crazy. You know.
Is that like in the period of time where I was also like, who do I cheer for? That was like I was like getting to that.
Yeah. Well, every person you cheer for is the one getting voted out.
Yeah, I know. That was like cool.
And you just the final 3 you were rooting for Jan. That's how sad.
Yeah.
I'm like at that point I'm like, no, you can't. You gotta root for Brian. Come on.
Jan. Yeah, you.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right, so we saw Brian and Amy are like very similar in style, you know. But this is just like the timeline where Brian gets upended, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Can she bounce back from the back foot? We'll see. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to our podcast feed. Like the video. Leave a comment. Hit the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And like us on Facebook. Tarqaron TWO.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.